Hello and welcome to Bajaj with Cafemutual. I'm Ridhima Bhatnagar. Today we have here with us Ganesh Mohan, CEO of Bajaj Finserv Mutual Fund. Hello, sir. Nice to have you on this show. And I would start by asking you that what is value proposition and why do mutual fund distributors require it?
So, value proposition is the reason why companies or institutions or even individuals, right, exist. And what is unique that they bring to their partners, their customers, their investors, right? Now, if I think about it from an investment perspective, right, ultimately every investor is coming in to be able to generate wealth for themselves. A distributor's role is to actually ensure that that wealth gets created, right? So there is a term which I actually call advisors alpha, right? Which is something that is in the hands of all of our distributors. If you take a look at data, the difference between investment returns versus what the investor has actually seen, right? And there's data on this from Morningstar, which shows that there is a difference of around 2.5 to 5% annualized between what the same fund makes versus what an investor actually gets. This gap is primarily because many of the investors end up trading in and out of the funds, right? And so they don't make the kind of returns which they should be doing. Now, typically a good advisor, right, should be the one who is helping the investors, making sure that they're not doing the wrong decision, making sure that they stay invested and are realizing the benefits of their investments. So if the investors had simply stayed invested over this period of time, they would have generated between 2.5 to 5% more returns on an annualized basis. That's what the data is saying, right? This is alpha, which is there in the hands of all of our advisors. That is a value proposition that they must keep an eye on. And that is a value proposition that they must deliver to their investors, making sure that their investors stay invested even in tough times, holding their hand and making sure that they don't fall prey to any panic or any short-term objectives and lose sight of their long-term goals. That's what I would call as the value proposition that many of our distribution partners should be doing.
How can mutual fund distributors understand the unique value proposition and identify it and, so that it's appealing since a lot of them do similar things?
So obviously the nature and the journey for each distributor will be quite different, right? But the ultimate goals of investors are similar. The journeys that each of them go through are quite different. What each advisor needs to do is, I would say at the heart, it's very, very simple processes that they need to put in place. Understand the customer, the investor really well. What are really their goals, their objectives? What is their current situation? What are their risk tolerances? Right? And when are they likely to actually act in manners that are not in their favor, right? These are not very simple things to do, but these are very important things for distributors to understand. And I found that those who really understand these parts very well and bring that into the way they operate, the way they provide advice, the way they help identify the right products for their investors, and how they ensure that the investors get the full benefit of the products that they've invested in. In those cases, questions around fees, etc., go out of the window. Questions about technology, processes go out of the window, right? The value that you're providing is far greater than all of these other points.
How can MFDs communicate about this unique value proposition to their clients?
There's nothing better than actually doing it, right? So communicating is one part, but I think the proof of the pudding is always in the eating, right? So how do your investors react when there is a headline news which says 2 lakh crores of market cap eroded in one day, right? And very often you will see such.
Yes.
What is your reaction when an investor picks up an app and starts trading on it, right? What is your reaction when you realize that an investor may be doing more F&O than what he should be doing, right? These are all moments of truth for you as an advisor, right? These are the times when you have to bring in your own expertise, your own advice, your own value add, right? And sometimes you have to have a tough conversation with the investor to say that, look, this is a product which maybe 90% of the times you will lose money, right? Versus you have a product where if you stay invested for 3 years, there's a reasonably good chance you will make 10% plus year on year, right? What is right for you, right? One may be a very attractive, sexy product, but it'll lose you money. The other is maybe not as attractive, but it will certainly make you money, right? This distinction has to be very clearly drawn out for our investors. And I think this is where our distributors have a huge role to play.
Lastly, what do you like most about Cafemutual events?
So I think this is the second event that I've attended, and I think it's been a fantastic event. I think the level of participation, the level of energy, the level of knowledge that people bring into this, the kinds of speakers that you have, the kind of topics that gets discussed over here. I think it's a very enriching experience for everybody, which is the reason why you get the kind of participation that you do. To me, I think you need forums like this because you can understand how the rest of the industry is thinking, what's new. You can hear from other people who are experts in maybe certain fields. You can share insights, and it's also important because distribution can sometimes be a lonely business, right? It's important to have a network. It's important to have a community. And I think Cafemutual does a great job of building that community within our distribution partners, and we really appreciate them for it.
Thank you so much, Ganesh. Those were some great insights. And that is all from today's session of Bajaj. See you in next edition. Signing off.